Now the Lord had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country. Abraham at that time was living in Mesopotamia in the city called Ur, the same region between Tigris and Euphrates, called the cradle of civilization, where Babylon was. But God called him out of that country. Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great. And thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. Now some people think that God is done with the nation of Israel since the New Testament, since they rejected Christ. In 70 AD they were burned to the ground by the Roman Empire. A lot of people think that either Israel became the church or the church replaced Israel, but God is not done with the nation of Israel. So that blessing is not just to Abraham. That promise to bless those that bless thee is not just to Abraham, but also to the nation of Israel. In Numbers 24:9, very clearly about the nation, as Balaam prophesies, Blessed is he that blesseth thee, and cursed is he that curseth thee, speaking of the nation of Israel. Now I want to give you 3 examples of unconditional promises that God gave to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, the nation of Israel. Now watch this. No conditions on their behavior. God's saying, this is what I'm going to do. This is to Abraham. Genesis 17:7-8. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee, and their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan. So for Abraham to inherit the land, he'd have to rise from the dead, wouldn't he? But he promised Abraham and to his seed after him all the land of Canaan. For how long? For an everlasting possession. And I will be their God. God didn't say, if you do this, I'll do this. He said, I will be their God. You will get the land. He repeats this promise to Isaac. Genesis 26:4. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries. That was the star cam. Looking up at the stars there. I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Genesis 26:4. And then later to Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, whose 12 sons would later comprise the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Jacob, looking back before his death, he looks back and he says this in Genesis 48:4. I will make thee fruitful and multiply. He's reminded of what God said to him. I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee, and will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. So God is clear. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and ultimately the nation of Israel will receive the promised land, the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession. Now we see a problem or a dilemma occur with the next study we're going to look at. That's the giving of the Mosaic Law, where God puts conditions on Israel's physical blessing. Conditions. Standards so high that only God himself in the person of Jesus Christ could fulfill. But know this, that nation, somehow God will intervene and they will get the promised land. As God said many, many times in the Old Testament and even in the New Testament, in particularly Romans 9-11, we see that God is not done with physical Israel, but they will be saved. They will get their land. They will look to their Messiah, and they will be head over the nations, and Christ will be... I'm getting ahead of myself. Stay tuned till next time. They will get the land, though.